Emmanuel Inonda as well.
New week. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Emmanuel. We were supposed to have Leangari. I hope she'll be joining us as we move along. But top stories, Keith.
Yes. Today we're noticing that there are interesting developments across the country. Starting off is controlled donations, where the government has suggested that all donation and relief objectives towards fighting coronavirus run through them. I believe there's a press release to this effect, and I find this an interesting twist that government wants to take control. It's good because that means everything is going in one direction and we can focus our energies unilaterally. However, it's the Kenyan government. The reputation in handling resources is not the most stellar. So we're not sure if we should entirely trust all management to them.
I think, Keith, it's important that people are able to understand where exactly we are coming from, because this is in wake of former Prime Minister Raila Odinga donating foodstuff to Kibra, the Kibra community, and we actually saw stampedes and people were really haggling and pushing each other over the supplies that were provided. We actually saw people not protecting themselves as they should. Emmanuel, is this move welcome for you?
I think it's welcome because whatever happened in Kibra is shameful, especially coming at this time where we need to observe social distancing. Tracy, there was a lot of commotion, there was a lot of contact between those guys, assuming that they were one of them or some of them were infected. Do you know how many infections were there? So I think this thing should go through the government, then they can be distributed in an orderly manner, not in a political way like we're used to seeing t-shirts being thrown during campaigns, the 50 shillings or 200 shillings that are being, people scrambling for it. Now it was time for food. The food that is supposed to be there in need, people almost lost their lives, others went to the hospital. So I think this thing should go through the government, then it should be distributed. Like, for example, the way, I think government knows our doors, our houses, those people who need it, they've had census recently, so they know exactly whom they're supposed to get whatever that and how they should get that particular kind of donation. So to me, it's a good move for the government. Yeah.
I am thinking there has been an outcry on social media. Netizens are screaming, if the government cannot use what they already have prudently, then what means that these donations will not be, what do I call it? Wamezi, you know.
Misappropriated.
Yeah.
That's how they like to use it, misappropriated. And you see, that's what is raising jitters for me, because it's unilateral. You see, if you want to do something large, it makes sense to put it all in one direction so that you know how and when and where you're reappropriating these resources. However, our government doesn't give us that faith. You know, that just becomes a challenge for the public. So if the people knew for certain that with government handling their affairs, things would go clean, smooth, no hitches, no setbacks, we'd have a greater faith in letting government solely handle the affair. But as it is, however, in as much as I'm saying I have my qualms with the government, my issues with the government taking it up, individuals and especially politicians, I really think this is the worst time for us to try and gain mileage. I really think this is the worst time to try and show our political might. If anything, that your political might should be in pushing towards these resources being better distributed, not the sham that happened, because that was a shameful.
You know, we actually saw what is his name? Nairobi Governor Mike Sonko as well, just trying to distribute food to the communities. I think it's important that we put it in perspective and let people know that you are not denied from helping out your neighbor who is in need right next to you. You do not need the government for that. I think it's in terms of large gatherings and, you know, people having to queue for these resources. I think it will be interesting to see how if these politicians without the limelight that comes with it, if they will still be willing to donate. I think we saw President Yoweri Museveni just come out and tell leaders, if you want, we will put you on telly, but no. This directive has actually worked in Uganda as well. So it will be interesting just to see the Kenyan politicians and if they're going to dance to this tune. Yes, Inonda.
These donations are not genuine. These guys are trying to gain mileage. The other day we saw a governor somewhere. There was a donation of sanitizers from a certain company, free sanitizers. But the governor spent 1 million branding those sanitizers with his name, so that the people are using them, they'll think it's from the governor. So they are trying to gain mileage. After the corona, they'll start saying, okay, you remember during corona I stood with you, I gave you this and that, this and this and that.
But I think at this point in Nonda, our people do not care where this help is coming from. You're feeding me good. I don't care if you put your face on it. At the end of the day, we just need these essential things to get down to the people on the ground.
You need to help genuinely. You need to help genuinely.
I have a question.
Yeah, yes.
We are lauding Yoweri Museveni. Does that mean Kenya needs a dictator?
Hii level ya kichwa ngumu mahali tumefika. You know, Keith, when you mention it like that, it really brings out the next point, which is how our parliament is, you know, they have decided that is, they do not obey the law, which they themselves create or help create. We saw in the weekend there have been arrests that have been made, prominent people on our headlines, and basic things. Do not conglomerate, do not go to restaurants and clubs and bars. Keith, I know we were discussing one of the dailies and the headlines that were, you know, on our papers today. Your thoughts on this one?
Well, let's start off on the dailies. Standard Group, because I mean it's out there. The newspaper is out there. They've labeled headline story traitors, and personally, I feel in tune with this headline, mostly because I have been on this show championing for our political leaders to, for the first time, take a bow, show us that you care, show us that you understand that these hefty salaries you receive are off our backs. But no, listen to the silence, people. Listen to how loudly they are not saying a thing.
The lots of betrayal.
It's too open. Trust me, it'll be difficult to find me at any polling station come 2022. I do not want to see any of our political leaders coming back to office. They have failed us.
And that means then you should be on the forefront, you know, just trying to vote them out. Because
I will want to stand by a new breed of leaders. In fact, at this point, as the youth, as those of us who are clearly seeing the leaders in office failing the Kenyan people, next time around, we need to stand with someone, new people, totally new people. I cannot stress this enough.
You cannot overemphasize,
totally new people. Change of guard.
You know, it tickles me because, in the words of the president, mnataka to do, Emmanuel.
You know, in 2013, when Justin Muturi was elected the Speaker of the National Assembly, that was the day our August House died. All the motions, all the bills, they need to be approved from the office of the president so that they can go to the parliament. Remember, the National Assembly, that's the judiciary and the executive, all are independent bodies. But the parliament is now leaking. It's now leaking whatever the State House or the office of the president says, that's what they pass. You remember, sometimes back we had so many crucial and controversial bills. They passed no matter what. So at this time, since the State House is quiet, then these guys are also quiet, waiting to be told whatever they do. So it was a mistake that was committed early in 2013. You can't compare Muturi and Kenneth Marende, the predecessor. You compare the bills and the tough decisions, I mean, that they were made during that time. So these guys are there. They are telling us, okay, our work is to legislate. I've not seen any legislation from them about the COVID. They have not taken any pay cut, yet they are not traveling. They normally say, okay, we spend a lot of money on fuel. We spend a lot of money on hotels, bookings, whatever, drafting bills. But right now, they are in their houses. The allowances are still coming. So these are the real loads of betrayal. But you think twice.
And you know, Emmanuel, yes, Keith.
I think we're missing someone on the panel. We need to find Boniface Mwangi. I feel the man would have a lot to say about this, you know, because he has constantly been championing for us to take our leaders to the task, you know, ask them to be accountable.
But Keith, I think this is just an issue of the culture of leadership in this country, because a lot of times we've elected the new breed of leaders.
Which
and
ones?
Really had hope. I don't want to mention names.
No,
and really had hopes in some
which
specific
election have we had a new breed
leaders.
of leaders?
And we find ourselves back to the drawing board. People who are really vocal, who are to those extents that you mentioned, Boniface Mwangi, people like, you know, Jaguar, people like, I do
Mohammed
not
Ali.
want to
Ali Mohammed.
Yeah, Mohammed Ali.
Mohammed Ali went and it became also a lot of betrayal. He's so quiet right now.
Tafadhali,
nothing.
As our
serikali bwana,
fellow
open up your
journalist, we need
eyes.
to tell him, come out, show us. Show us that show us that the Kenyan people put in their face.
He's taking videos from his house instead of legislating bills to help to solve this COVID-19 at the parliament.
Even if they were legislating from their houses through Zoom to the parliament, we wouldn't care as long as we'd see that our political leaders are actually understanding that work needs to be done.
So I think it can't come out any more clearer that we are actually calling for the leadership of this country to stand up and do the right thing and do what is right by us as Kenyans. Because when we find ourselves in a position where the people who are actually supposed to be showing us and guiding us on this war against COVID-19, flaunting the rules that have been put across by their direct boss, then, you know, there's trouble that is looming. And while the members of parliament are, you know, being all over the place and not doing whatever it is that they're supposed to do, C.S. Mutahi in the last week or two called on the youth and the young people of this country to take up the challenge and fight COVID-19. And we actually listened, even after ile makelele people made on this show, saying the youth, it is not us who need to do this thing. No, we have actually seen young people come out and do the right thing. Keith?
Well, I am always faithful and hopeful in the Kenyan spirit, in the Kenyan people. Over the past 2 weeks, I have actually witnessed in our own news bulletins stories across the country of the youth taking up the mantle to ensure they're mitigating the risk factor to as many people as possible. I know in Nyanza, there is, I'm not sure if it's Kisumu or one of the many other towns in Nyanza province, where the youth are taking it upon themselves to make deliveries to elderly and more vulnerable personalities of the society at no extra cost. You send a message, they take up your order, they do your shopping, take a bike, which they will fuel of their own finance, and get it to you. Kudos. And
Emmanuel,
furthermore,
what have you seen? Let us put across the scenarios where you have seen the young people coming up, and then I will generally discuss this, yeah?
We've seen so many young people have come up to fight this thing. If you go the streets, it's the young guys who are trying to do the fumigation. And the Matatu stages, it's the young guys who are there trying to come up and help this thing. But the young guys who are in parliament, the likes of Babu, the likes of Jaguar, the other guy, the youngest MP from, is it
Igembe something.
Igembe, yeah, Igembe.
He's from the Meru community.
In fact, they've never brought any motion in parliament, even before Corona. So sometimes we ask ourselves, these guys we call youth, are they the right youth that we elect there, or we just elect because of the age? So it's 50-50. The guys who are in leadership are doing nothing, but the guys who are outside leadership are trying to do something. But the problem is, when they go into the leadership, they forget whatever they were doing down here. So we need to rethink ourselves as youth, and then define the youth in us, because when you go there, you start thinking like old men. So
you know, you've really put out an interesting point, because the big question for the youth is, after the CES told us, guys, this virus is going to affect you the most, then what for us? How do we as the young people survive? And it is interesting to look at some people in the streets trying to do different businesses. I have actually seen young people who have invented an application that is going to help in contact tracing. One of the most, you know, one of the things that is very key for the war against COVID-19. So it is interesting to just see how young people are are taking up these spaces and showing us that yes, we actually can. I am really shocked that Keith Atito, it wasn't your university, the university that led students to be able to produce ventilators.
It depends with how big. What does it do big? Demonstration? Yes.
No, come on. No, people, you see, after your mother has already raised you, she does not really have to take active duty in how you perpetuate yourself further.
So yes, listen,
as the mother university,
the last time I heard
we're already taking the credit. We did a good job on the foundation.
The last time I heard from Keith University, the activity they were planning to go on a certain planet somewhere. I don't know where the activity reached, but I want to applaud the guys who came up with this initiative of making. Actually, before they made, there was two guys who made a ventilator. You remember, there were two guys who made a ventilator, but they were not taken serious by the guys who were supposed to take them serious, because they knew if we give these guys support, we lack money to procure these things at double cost from abroad, so that you can keep something in our pockets. So whatever these guys did, was it yesterday or the other day? It was marvelous, and I want to congratulate them. Actually, when the Minister of Education will be releasing funds for these institutions, they should be allocated extra kitty, because they've shown they can do something at emergency. It's an emergency time for this, and they did it and they perfected it. So the government needs to come up and support them, produce as many as they can, so that you can help this to fight this thing called COVID-19.
I am curious, Keith, because I'm really curious because the cost of the masks has become very prohibitive. The last time we were on this show, I had a panel, Fragi included, and the biggest concern was that these masks retail for 100 shillings, and every other measure that we require as a people to be able to fight these diseases has become commercialized right now. So how do we survive? You know, I was just doing the quick mathematic before we came on this show, and if we're supposed to use the surgical masks, which are meant to be disposable, a family of 5 or let's say 6 means then we would use around 500, 600 bob every day on top of your regular budget. But is this viable for the common mwananchi?
Okay, I personally loved the Kenyan spirit of enterprising, the enterprising Kenyan spirit, because we find solutions to our challenges very, very fast, and then find ways to make money off of those solutions even faster. It's a wonder. However, I think Kenyans are left at a catch-22 situation as usual, where, yes, I can't sell my normal everyday wares, whatever else I usually do to make a daily living, I can't do. Now there's demand, great demand for this product, i.e. a mask. And in as much as this product is here to save your life, I want to make money so that I can also live. Difficult situation to pick and choose. So it leaves a lot to be asked and answered. We're hoping that by the time Rivertex were making their products, we'd be looking at them retailing as low as 30 to 50 shillings. At least that would have made some sense to some households. However, I'm hopeful that in this week, let's be done with the holiday. You see, most of us are not even realizing it's that holiday after an Easter Sunday. We've been home for too long. It's just another day. But yes, guys, this is still a holiday. Normally, we are enjoying today.
I just remembered Easter today.
Emmanuel.
I just remembered Easter today from Kate. Talk of these masks. Retailing at 100 shillings is actually it's shocking, because we've seen some counties like Mombasa, it's been giving it for free to its residents for free. So what makes us different from Nairobi or any other county distributing these things for free? In Washington Post, I saw Kitui. There is a Kitui company that is making these masks, bulk of them, at a very low cost.
But where are they?
Wait, okay.
Are they not hitting our market?
Tracy, just a moment.
What is going on?
There's someone who is sitting on them.
Oh,
Tracy,
really?
hold on one moment.
This is Kenya.
We're saying that we read a story about a manufacturing plant in Kitui
Yes.
on the Washington Post.
Yes.
Am I the only one having a problem with that?
Let me tell you why I don't have a problem with this case.
My problem is that it's the Washington Post.
Yes,
What are we doing?
because we don't appreciate our own. Even Mutai Kagwe was recognized as number 3 with the U.S. Street Journal, not the Standard of the Nation.
You know,
We never
I think
appreciate our own
Kenyans,
kid.
I think, Emmanuel, you have a point right
Yeah.
there. Kenyans sijui shida inakuanga wapi by the way. But it's interesting to just see these companies are on the international media landscape, yet on the ground, hatuna hizo masks.
We're not feeling
Where
this
are
effect.
these things going to? Because I remember we've been talking about Rivertex and Kikotech and all these companies producing this PPE and masks and, you know, things that will help us protect ourselves from this disease. But at the end of the day, hazifiki kwa ground. So I think for us is just to urge us as Kenyans, tafadhali. You know, I have a friend of mine who I'm going to call out right now on this show, who was selling these masks at quite a reasonable price. I think a box of 50 was going for 1,000 bob, and then immediately it became mandatory for everyone to have a mask 5 times. 5 times, no shame. Tafadhali Kenyans, I don't think this is not tutakufa wote, and then there will be no world to spend this money in. Tafadhali,
Our
you
president
know.
was
You know,
very...
something funny with the government is it will rather import or make more body bags than masks. I saw
Yeah.
certain photos trending online of the body bags, and it's sad. Why don't you make more masks than the body bags?
You know, it's
morbid.
it's important. I think, Emmanuel, it's important we brace ourselves
Yeah.
for the reality that is soon to grip us. I don't think the government is handling this the way they should be, because if anything is to go by, if we are to go by what the videos we've seen on social media that may be too graphic to air here. We saw a man in Siaya who passed away from COVID-19. He was like he was a Kenya Ports Authority employee.
Yeah.
And just to look at the inhumane way, some people call it inhumane, others want to claim that the same thing is happening across the world, even in the first world countries. But I think it will be important as Kenyans, yes, we need to brave ourselves for tougher times, but the government as well should be able to, you know, do the thing. The necessary thing.
Yeah.
And the necessary thing is to ensure our lives are not disrupted as much as they can.
Yeah, the video that was taking rounds online and the mainstream of the KPA officer in Siaya, it's saddening because COVID-19 has not pushed us to that level of neglecting the dead. The dead also needs respect, his own respect.
Especially according to the African culture.
Yeah, the traditional African society, the dead needs also respect. You can't just bundle someone like that, then you throw him in a shallow ditch, not even a grave.
You know, I was actually really concerned medically. We've been told that this virus remains potent even after, you know, posthumously, even after people die.
Yeah.
So to actually see government officials not aware of the fact that you need to bury 6 feet deep, heartbreaking, but
What was the hurry for? This guy went into the hospital around 10 a.m. He died 7 p.m. He's been buried before midnight. So why the hurry? What was the hurry for?
I think because Siaya County, we had not actually been told of COVID cases in the county, and I feel like people are reacting
And remember, this is a
as
case.
out of hysteria, not necessarily out of fact. So it will be important even to learn the psychological effects that this disease has on everybody, not the victims alone, the family members, the healthcare practitioners, and everyone else who, you know, whose lives have changed as a result. And this is actually everyone, because at this point I don't know if there's anyone who is sitting put and the life is going on as we are used to it. And that's why you need to tune in tonight. Lea Ngari will be helping you understand how to tackle the mental health impact of COVID-19 in this country tonight at 9 p.m. Keith, you're quiet on this one.
No, I've been thinking about this whole matter as you're saying that it will be very different. And it's interesting you mentioned Lea Ngari, because I was thinking about her Saturday show, Saturday Confessions, and the guest said that the Spirit of the Lord came upon her and she saw that there is more to come after this. It may not be now, it may not be immediately, but there is more to come after COVID-19. And I was thinking, if we are already being inhumane now, if we're losing decorum, human decency now, are we going to get to the other end, really? And that's what's been running through my mind, and I can't mouth it enough. I'm worried. I'm not scared. I'm worried. For the world we are creating of and for ourselves at this rate.
Yes, I agree with you, Keith. And at the end of the day, I think everyone's goal is to actually survive the pandemic. So stay at home, guys. Tafadhali, do not be caught in bars or restaurants or whatever it is. Itaisha, we will be back to making merry how we are used to.
Yeah.
I think with the same note, let's take a short break. When we come back, we will have in other news ready for you the top stories that are affecting you directly from where you are at. Stay tuned.
Since late last year, the coronavirus COVID-19 has emerged as a serious healthcare threat. This is an infection that has gone global and no one has been spared. The government, through the Ministry of Health, has put in measures to keep Kenyans safe against COVID-19, which is currently rampant around the world, with new confirmed infections and death cases daily. Such sanitization and screening of visitors at this border post and across every entry point in the country is very vital in preventing the spread of the disease in the country.
I'm very happy about the screenings that are going on in Tanzania and Kenya. I think it's very proactive that you're thinking about stopping it at the border so that it does not spread.
It is scary that a single cough here can lead to an outbreak of epic proportions. In order to prevent that, the government has instituted measures to keep Kenyans safe.
The facility has all the equipments you need, from handling a basic patient up to ICU setting.
However, you also have a role to play in preventing spread of infections.
Citizen responsibility is the key to the success of this initiative and these measures. Let's all do what we have to do individually. And this is how we are going to defeat this disease.
It's just our general hygiene, okay? And that now means at workplaces, we should ensure that our work surfaces are clean.
Let's ensure that nimefanya proper sanitation ya mikono. Every time na board matatu, lazima ni sanitize mikono.
We have faced many severe challenges as a nation, and we have always found a way to rise above them. COVID-19 is no different, and we will overcome the pandemic. Stop coronavirus. Follow all directives from the Ministry of Health. Wash your hands properly.
Kwa majina naitwa Elisha, mimi ni MEC. Hapa place yetu tumejaribu cooperate na gava. We are doing the sanitization. Watu kunawa mikono na sabuni. Tuna cooperate na gava na ndio maana tuko job. Though job yetu iko chini juu ya hii mambo ya coronavirus. Coronavirus ikisha tutarudi back to normal. Economy itaendelea, job itaendelea, mambo itakuwa sawa. For more information, unaweza dial 719 or *719#. Wase wote tafadhali tukomeshe corona.
Thank you so much for keeping it TV47. My name is Tracy Mokami and this is In Other News. And as Keith mentioned earlier, guys, tuko Easter. Does it even feel like it?
We don't feel the vibe.
It feels like the 17th day of January.
You are right, by the way. Yeah? With the staying at home and everything else that is going on. You know, there's something I've always been curious about. I don't know, I think nilelewa ushago, that is why. Why do we have Easter eggs, Keith?
Why are you putting me on the spot like this?
No.
I feel thrown under the bus. Okay, here's what I know.
Yeah?
It's not Kenyan.
Yes, for
it's
sure.
It's not a Kenyan thing.
Easter is not even a Kenyan thing to begin with.
Easter is not a Kenyan thing, but because we conformed to the Christian faith, Easter becomes a thing for us. And what people don't know, we don't actually have an Easter Monday. It's that Easter falls on Sunday, and by the Kenyan law, if a holiday falls on a Sunday, Monday automatically becomes an extension of the holiday. So yeah, that's why for the longest time, Easter Monday exists. That's a genuine
So
fact.
Christ resurrected Jana.
You thought he was resurrected on Monday?
No.
Christ is a diplomat. Diplomats' days start on the day they are there. So when Christ died and resurrected after 3 days, Friday is counted, Saturday is counted, Sunday before he was seen is counted. So, yes.
Alikuwa mtu wa mathematic.
Diplomacy.
You know, every Monday we've always been analyzing how you guys spent your weekend and how Sunday was for you. And interesting enough, I think it's becoming the new normal, guys, that, you know, Sunday you just sit at home and, you know, watch your church service from home. And someone close to me actually alicheka jana akaniambia ile kitu, the thing that staying at home is really helping us do, you can actually attend church service while having a beer. Emmanuel.
How do you usually slide these things in? I never see them coming.
I won't support nor
refute these
whatever you are told. Let me just go back to Easter.
All right, that is a safe thing to do.
Yeah, yesterday I saw Pope Francis observing social distance. If you've been to Rome or you've watched the service before the COVID, it's normally packed, very full. But yesterday there was no one, just few people in that hall observing social distance. So I think to some extent it lost meaning, because here in Kenya, guys go out to celebrate, they have parties, they have everything.
People actually go to Ushago.
Yeah, but this time round, it was different. Talk of Ushago, even before the lockdown, we had this governor of not Eldoret, was in Gishu, was telling guys, okay, if you come for Easter, we'll give you a 14-day quarantine. Then after the 14th day, we'll send you back to Nairobi. So please don't come. So actually it was meant to be boring, but I'm glad that Christ rose yesterday. And who knows that this week or next week we'll have a vaccine for the
it's interesting to look at some of the memes that were trending on social media yesterday, and one that was really, really hilarious for me was...
Jesus, please. You're not stepping out of that grave.
Actually, the funniest one for me was, Christ has risen, but you might not rise again if you die out of COVID-19. Stay at home.
Wow.
The message could not be overemphasized.
You cannot overstress it. However, Tracy, there's something that hit our headlines yesterday that I can't help but ask. Churches are asking to be reopened. And they are hoping to achieve social distancing with the new church setups. I'm curious, is it feasible? Is it practical?
You know, I'm going to unashamedly say this, that I was really disappointed when I saw circulations by different churches. Wanaomba sadaka.
Huh?
Yeah.
Online.
Again?
Kwa sababu, you guys haven't been going to church. Which week is this?
3.
Yeah?
This should be week 3.
The coffers are running dry. We need to supply them with...
Is this not, and I like to put it out there, is this not the time that the church now needs to give?
And we have actually seen churches elsewhere across the world. Kuna kanisa zimefanywa isolation centers. Some are actually housing the homeless and the street families. And to just see the Kenyan space and churches just asking for sadaka. I thought like, humanity, where is Christ is not rising in your heart? What is going on?
The Kenyan churches were quiet when they were suspended from conducting their services due to this COVID. But it's Magufuli, the president of Tanzania, who keeps making these guys think that we need to go to church and do all this stuff. Maybe Magufuli might be going to church because of the spiritual whatever, but these guys, we've seen it clearly, it's not for spiritual nourishment, but it's for because of the pay bill, for the tithe and all that stuff. So these guys they've never paid taxes for their churches. All their money is 100% free tax. They need to start giving out, at least. They need to start giving out, not again asking for pay bill numbers, giving out pay bill numbers for sadaka and all that, while guys are inside, they are under self-quarantine. So it's shameful.
It's important. I think Fragi should have just been on set. He's whispering and ananiambia that the bishops and all these other clergy persons, when there is no sadaka, they have no salary. So those were the first people to take pay cuts before even our president.
But what did you ever pay our Lord Jesus Christ? What did you ever pay him for the 3 years he toiled teaching us his many teachings? But Tracy, here's the thing that's on the matter churches that's on my mind. Is our spiritual nourishment worth the risk of perpetuating a pandemic?
Even Christ himself said we need to follow the law. Hakutuambia we flaunt these rules and then say that we are Christians at the end of the day.
I would genuinely want to hear from the clergy, the members of the faith, fellow Christians, fellow Muslims out there. Is it worth it? Please send us tweets. My handle at Atito Keith, at Tracy KE, at TV47 KE. Please send us tweets. Email us, WhatsApp us, call us. I would want to know, is our spiritual nourishment, spiritual sustenance, worth the risk of perpetuating this pandemic? That's the balance we have out here.
What these churches are not telling their congregation, they're not telling them to read Isaiah 26:20.
Pastor?
Yes.
Please. Do not be shocked. This man might actually go to church once in a while.
Stay indoors.
Let me take notes. Isaiah what?
Isaiah 26:20.
Isaiah 26:20.
Which I'll verify. Put under VAR like this.
No,
see if you
I can look at the verse for you. It's where is it? Do I have a Bible? Yes. It says.
Here's a Bible on this tab.
I know.
Go, my people, enter rooms and shut the doors behind you. Hide yourself for a little while until the wrath has passed away.
Amen. Amen.
Guys,
brother.
stay indoors.
Amen.
Stay at home. The church is not a building.
You know, speaking of pastors,
Yeah.
Jana was supposed to be the apocalypse. Nothing. We did not see. We hatukusikia trumpet.
Tracy, are you sure you want us to go here? Are you sure you want us to go here? Because maybe the prophet himself is also gone. Could somebody find us a location on Prophet Award, please?
Yeah.
Send us his pin. Send us a photo of him.
I think we cannot overemphasize the need not to remain a sycophant, to follow. But the president told us, Emmanuel, the president told us that science requires God,
Yes.
But kuna vitu zingine tu ni facts, You do the thing, follow the government directives.
Yes.
And on the same breath, so the Central Bank of Kenya has decided wanataka designated survivor for all banks. So in case the pandemic sweeps out, for example, no examples.
So as Africans, we're not allowed to name names.
Yeah, we will not name names. But think of anyone prominent from the banking industry. Central Bank of Kenya has decided hawataki hizo gaps. That's at the end of the day, they need someone who is on the reins of power. Keith.
That's interesting. I'm not curious. I'm thinking of the show itself, Designated Survivor. And where is this person going to be? How are we going to ensure that
he does not get COVID, he or she doesn't get COVID-19?
It's quite an interesting phenomenon, quite an interesting quagmire that we find ourselves in.
Does it give you goosebumps, Keith, every time you watch a movie and then you feel like you're actually living the movie?
No,
at that particular moment.
For us 21st century babies, TV has become more reality than reality itself. Someone said, you realize the world is in a bad place when you get your news from comedians as opposed to getting it from the news itself. And now when you're getting reality from movies, I'm scared. Will you be watching our lives as reality TV shows?
I know.
This is not funny.
Emmanuel, on a more serious note though, do you think it's important to have a list of executives just in case?
Just in case something goes bad?
Just in case the pandemic decides to sweep out?
Don't tell me you've been watching The Last Ship.
Exactly.
Because whatever the government is saying, everything is getting from The Last Ship if you've watched it before.
No, I haven't.
Netflix, it's exactly what the government is saying. Exactly. You say TV and real life are now like this.
Okay.
Yeah, so...
the TV and real life became in tandem from the point the US decided to employ Trump as their president because Simpsons produced that, I don't know.
The day Kenya decided to hire Justin Muturi as the speaker.
Wow, Emmanuel, you're going out on this one, completely out.
You are going very far to the US when you have our own Kenyan.
Wow, wow. So anyway,
I think
they should be listed.
They should be listed. Yeah,
they should be listed.
So you should. Does this mean Keith, at some point you need to appoint deputy boyfriend for your girlfriend? What does this actually mean for the world?
No, for me,
for the world across.
I'm glad you asked Faith.
I like how you like throwing me under the bus. No, I'm not appointing deputy boyfriend. I feel we've already deputized ourselves enough out here. Nairobi is one big what?
What?
Yes.
Okay.
So I think we're well deputized.
It's within watershed period. Hours.
No. And that's why I minimize what I say. You fill in the dots yourself. When asked, I will have my own answers. But I think the person I will deputize, I will deputize a father to my child.
Yeah?
That one is somewhere.
Okay.
That may need a deputy someday somewhere.
Sawa. So mfuate Keith social media, he just might be naming one of you deputy.
No, he already knows himself.
Okay. Sawa, your house is in order. Are you ready?
My house is in order. As for me and my house.
And we have Inonda on the show, yeah? I think we cannot wrap up this show without talking about the videos we've seen online of Africans being mistreated in China. Well, we have repeatedly asked people not to be racist on this show. Turns out it's actually the other way around. It's not Africans who are, being racists to our Chinese friends and brothers and sisters. Inonda, have you seen these video clips? I actually know that China came out and released a statement and say that they were going to, improve the conditions of the Africans living in China. But how believable is this?
They don't need to improve the conditions of the Africans living in China. They need to let them live the way they are living.
Exactly.
Right now, these guys the landlords are being given a notice, one-day notice. Please evict your tenants. If it's African tenant, evict them. I saw an African guy sitting in a train, one bench alone. The Chinese, they'd rather stand than sit with these Africans.
I think I saw that as well.
Forgetting that these guys are coming here in Africa to steal our minerals, to set us traps, debt traps, and all that stuff. An African is as important as any other person. Actually, we are more important than them because
Emmanuel, when you say these points, I actually read one of the people who was just trying to justify. I know these are not actions that can be justified, but we're just trying to let people know where these actions by government are coming from. We cannot be ignorant of the fact that illegal immigrants from Africa across the world,
that's not
in Europe, in China,
that's not how you treat an immigrant.
Okay, so
remember, the president of the US is an immigrant. He was not born in the US.
No. I think you've missed my point, Emmanuel. So this is the problem, yeah.
Yes.
So everybody, for you to be able to be attended to at a medical facility, you actually require the papers. Okay.
Yes.
And these people who are illegal in these countries cannot be able to either get tested or get the relevant measures that the government is actually, putting across the Chinese people.
That's not true.
No,
that's not true.
When
the illegal Chinese were arrested in Kenya, they were just deported peacefully. They were not harassed. They were not set to the street to sleep there. There's
Okay.
nothing like documentation for you to get treatment. The virus didn't come from Africa, the way the Chinese are purporting to say. It came from China. They exported it to Africa. Now they are harassing Africans who are in China to come back to Africa.
Now, Tracy,
Keith.
here's why I feel you set yourself up for disaster on this one. Because you cannot get documentation, you cannot get medical care, you cannot get services from government if you do not have paperwork. Good, great, perfect. No complaints from me.
Yeah.
The whole world has stopped moving. Document these people. What are you saying? I mean,
Yeah.
you
Is
came...
this the time really? Is this
Yes,
the time?
it is the time because right now they can't leave, they can't come in. All borders are closed.
If
In
it's
fact,
all-
Trump should be having a party.
Yeah. If it's all about documentation, Tracy, yeah? Why are they forcing them into quarantine? Why do they get documents to take them into forced quarantine in
Exactly.
China?
All right.
Why are they evicting them from their houses?
How do they get houses?
How they
without
get houses
documentation?
without documentations?
I
It's a
think
lie.
it's nice that we saw.
It's only us Africans who keep saying, "Oh, we are all brothers. We are same, despite of race, color, whatever." But
Well, everyone else views it differently.
Europeans, anyone who is not an African, even the Arabs here in Morocco or Egypt, they call us Africans.
You know, it's
They call
really
us
sad. We
black
really
people.
hope that this will be the thing that is going to help unite us as
a
species.
human race.
Yeah, as a human race, as Keith puts it. And to trending topics. Najua Keith una subscribe to Quarantine Radio.
Well, quarantine radio with all of us not able to do much. From our DJs to our influencers, we're all on social media keeping people entertained. And I have to call out my brother, my friend whom I've never met and hopefully will be calling me after this. Xtiandela. Is there a man who can ride a trend? Has there ever been a man who can ride a trend like Xtiandela?
Megona. The Canadian.
Miguna starts a trend.
The Canadian.
You know what really caught my eye is actually not the whole hula baloo that keeps Emmanuel glued to Quarantine Radio. My problem is the lawsuits and the counter lawsuits. So Xtiandela was sued by a group of parents who decided this content you're trying to show to our children and exposing our society to is immoral and all that. And everything else that they put across in their demand letter from Xtiandela. And he actually replied. He actually got lawyers for himself and said, you know what? So what really caught my eye was that Ali quote that primary, tuache kubehave kama primary school head teacher on on Instagram. I was like, the primary school head teacher was just chilling. Minding their own business. Then boom, they're in someone's demand letter.
No, Tracy, I feel it's time for society to get its act together and stop passing the baton of morality to other persons. You know, I've been waiting on this fellow of ours, Ezekiel Mutua, Dr. Ezekiel Mutua. Yes, is it Ezekiel Mutua?
The KFCB.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I've been waiting on him. I'm waiting on him to come out and tell us, okay, so now we're in quarantine. We do not. You see, we are on mainstream TV. We have rules and regulations about what we can and cannot do. So cool. Xtiandela's social media timeline is Xtiandela's social media timeline. No one has any right to say anything about it.
Absolutely. And that just it boils down to parents and what you're letting your children expose themselves to, especially now that they'll be indoors for quite a long time. We don't know how long in particular. Yeah, so it's parents, tafadhali. You cannot question Xtiandela over what Xtiandela does on Xtiandela's page.
I mean,
Xtiandela is like.
Doesn't make any sense.
Xtiandela is like DJ Afro of Twitter.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
So
you guys usually pick and you poke holes at the most fascinating people.
No.
You went at Nganga.
Acha tueleze hiyo analogy. Tell us why ni DJ Afro or Twitter.
No, it's just DJ Afro of Twitter.
Okay.
No explanation necessary.
You've labeled him.
Necessary.
Yeah, that is how you understand him.
Yeah.
All right. Is this a good time to say that this is not the views of Inonda do not represent
Yes,
the views
absolutely.
of the company and the management?
My views do not endorse. Neither do they endorse.
Okay, no, that they endorse. So we distance ourselves. Extend. We distance ourselves from what he said.
I also distance myself from you guys and the TV47, but self-distancing.
You're social distancing now.
Umeturuka bro.
So
it will be interesting to just see how the media spaces will be shaping up, especially after tumeambiwa wasanii tunapewa pesa, and just everybody just trying to maintain their sanity.
Tunapewa pesa. Wewe ni msanii wapi?
Oh brother, please subscribe to my YouTube channel.
Oh,
Niko serious, Keith. Niko serious.
It's alright. Funny.
So it will be interesting just to see how the new inventions and innovations that will come across during this period as parents and everyone else tries to find their moment of sanity, because at the end of the day, social media is all we have, right?
Yeah.
Because you cannot meet up with friends for a rant, social media. You cannot
social media.
Do your official meetings, Zoom, social media. It will be interesting just to see how we are going to be surviving this pandemic. I think that's all the time we had today. Thank you so much for keeping us company. Tomorrow, same place, same time. As always, my name is Tracy Mokami. And before we go, I'd like to leave you with interesting videos, one that is really educating us on tafadhali tukae nyumbani, because we must stay at home. It's the only way to be able to flatten the curve. And also the things we actually miss. Keith, you miss traveling?
Achana tu.
Niwachane tu. It's all good, yeah? I hope we really be able to get back to this time.
We're not going to do this. We're not going to do this.
What is this?
Crying on air? No, thank you. There are destinations I have missed.
No, but I'm
Vegas.
surprised it's Easter. Monday.
You're not over that time.
Bado haujatosheka. We need to ring a bell in your ear.
I'm still surprised.
It's Easter Monday.
It's okay. It's Easter Monday.
I enjoy seeing the Philippines work themselves.
Oh, by the way, true. We haven't actually seen that tradition this year. I'm telling you, times are really changing, yeah? To be
the world
as we know it is changing absolutely.
Let me see my traveling so that I remember my good times.
Yeah?
Bye, people.
Thank you so much for
love
watching.
Love you, leave you.
Have
home,
a lovely afternoon.
Bye,
my name is Tracy. Bye.
Corona COVID-19 inakuja kukuja, ijui mkubwa, ijui mudosi, ijui mtu wa gari wa ndereva, ijui mtu wa ndege, piloti, tunajificha.
يرجى من حضرات ركاب طائرة طيران الإمارات رحلة رقم 123 والمتوجهة إلى لندن هيثرو الرجاء.
The coronavirus pandemic has not just infected thousands of people around the world. Sadly, thousands of people have also lost their lives.
The virus is here in Kenya, and unless we do something about it, thousands may die.
Our healthcare system cannot bear the burden of this virus.
If too many people become infected, we all know that our healthcare system will not be able to handle the pressure.
We stand to lose many, many lives.
You, me, or our loved ones could lose our lives.
To avoid this from happening,
you and I have a part to play.
Sanitize your hands.
Wash and disinfect your hands regularly.
Wash your hands frequently with soap and water.
Don't touch your face.
Please observe social distancing.
Avoid going out of town or being in groups with so many people.
And most importantly, you must stay at home.
Please stay at home.
Stay home.
Don't go out to meet your friends.
Stop your children from going out to play in groups. In fact, limit anything that takes you out of the house and follow government directives.
Please let us follow government directives. Stay at home.
You must stay at home.
Dear Kenyans, stay at home and save lives.
Stay at home
and save lives.
Stay at home and save lives. I beg.
Stay at home. Let's stop the spread of coronavirus.
Care for me as I care for you. And together, we will beat this thing.
Stay at home and save lives.
The following program is rated PG. It may contain scenes unsuitable for children under the age of 10. Parental guidance is advised.
Follow on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at DJ Prince.